I would like to say only one thing. What we are here today about is not merely the killing of an innocent, pure, angelic child. It is the killing of innocence of all children. Children that are exposed to this throughout the world and now do not sleep and do not walk down the street and wonder when they're going to bed if everything is going to be okay. This has killed the innocence of children the world over. That's what we're here. I hope to the family, and I will only echo Bill Hyken's words. They're one of the most special families I've ever met. They are dealing with the international media every day. They cannot forget for 1 second what has happened. I don't know how humanly possible it would have been for any member of that family to be here today. The pain is searing. It's boiling and burning at every single second. There is no rest. There is no rest.
Looking at Levi Aron, walk in there, I mean, I cringed. I just couldn't take my eyes off him. What does a murderer look like who's capable of doing what he did? It's just beyond comprehension. I think, the idea of an insanity defense, I think that issue, at least for the moment, is resolved, that is not going to be the case.
I have one quick question. If he's found incompetent to stand trial because of his lack of mental capacity, what would the reaction be in the community to that? Is that an acceptable?
I do not believe that is going to happen. That would be an absolute tragedy, because that would indicate that that man that I saw this morning, a few moments ago, is not responsible for what he did. I don't believe that for a second, and I don't think anyone else believes that. He worked, he had a full-time job in the community for over 12 years. He functioned in the community. The details that we know that he planned and plotted this. So that would be totally unacceptable, and that would be an absolute tragedy.
To keep him there in Bellevue because he has displayed some psychiatric disorders.
Does the 7:30 indicate that he's still getting away?
Negative, it doesn't indicate that.
What kind of awareness? What is the site at 7:30? And not all of our clients are always innocent, and not all of them are always guilty. That being said, it is still our job to defend their rights within all of our ability, and we do so every single day. This case is no different from the DWIs, the traffic tickets, or from other murder cases. They are defendants. They have rights, and we are here to protect them. Have patience with the system.
And let me add one thing for you as far as can I get a fair trial in Brooklyn. One of the news outlets here in town is running an online poll asking whether or not he should be executed. There's no death penalty in New York. That's prejudicial. That's tainting a jury pool. It's inflammatory. So he might not be able to get a fair trial in Brooklyn because the community's rancor has been riled, has been stirred up so passionately against this defendant, it may not be possible for him to get a fair trial in this case.
Bill statutes are going to try this case in that courtroom you just saw. We are not going to try this case in front of these cases.
Who's next? Somebody who hasn't asked one. Anyone?
How can you say that this is no different than regular PWI?
Because the constitutional rights that he has are no different than any other defendant. Is it more emotional? Is it more difficult to look at the evidence? Absolutely. This case isn't easy for us to handle either. But his rights are the same. The same rights that he has are the same rights that you have and that I have.
Might you still proceed with an insanity defense?
That is entirely possible.
And why is that possible?
It's going to be dependent on what psychiatric experts have to say. Psychiatric defenses aren't brought by defense counsel. They're brought by defense counsel only when we have evidence that supports those. So we will wait until our psychiatric experts evaluate him and find out what their answers are. And if they tell us that there's a psychiatric defense, then we will present it to the court. We don't have those evaluations done yet because he had to be rendered competent before we could even proceed in doing those evaluations. Now that he's been found competent, we can proceed with those evaluations, and dependent on what those outcomes are, is whether or not a psychiatric defense will be brought. One will not be brought if it's not a viable and reasonable outcome in this case.
But how long does it usually take for that? How long does it usually take for those evaluations?
It can take a couple of months at least.
The judge found Levi Aron competent to stand trial today. That was the latest at today's arraignment. Does the congressman have any feeling of what's going on? Especially, you just gave an award to the Shomrim members for their great work.
Well, I gave an award of congressional recognition to Shomrim because of their general excellent work and specifically because of their work in mobilizing the entire community and other communities to search for Leiby and to do what was humanly possible to save him before we found out what had happened. This was a terrible crime, and if the judge feels that the suspect is competent to stand trial, I mean, that can be appealed, but I assume will stand trial, and justice will be done. And of course, the community has every right to follow closely the judicial proceedings. That's why judicial proceedings are public.
Thank you.